everybody, this is Tony from Blue Without the E, butterflycreations.blogspot.com, and today I'm going to show you an altered coffee can. Now a lot of this prep work I did beforehand. What you see here is just a coffee can, and what I did is I covered it in this paper, and I cut the paper at 6 inches by 12, and I had 2 pieces of that so I could go all the way around. I then cut a red strip of cardstock at 3/4 of an inch by 12 inches. Again, 2 of those to go all the way around. And this piece of black pattern paper was cut at 1/2 inch by 12 inches. And I have 2 of those to go all the way around. All the paper in this project are from a paper pack that I got at Target a few years ago. I'm not sure if they have it still, but I just love these papers. They're just called to me. They're a paisley design. They're really out there, and it's also the paper I used for my Twilight series, 12 by 12 pages. So what I did is I adhered first my 6 by 12 inch paper to the outside of my coffee can using Mod Podge. I then used my sticker maker and ran my strips of paper through so they were adhesive on the back. I then took the red and abutted it to the top of the can where the ridge is and went all the way around with one. Took my second one and started at the seam, went all the way around, and I trimmed the excess when I got to the end of the other seam. I repeated the same thing with the black. Now my goal for this can is to actually hold 2 mini albums. One of them is this little tag album that I created using the same paper pack, and I'm going to show you how to make these tags, this little tag album. And it's also going to have a altered envelope mini album to go in it, as well as some cards, again using all the same papers from the paper pack. I also went ahead and stickers, and they're very nostalgic dimensional stickers. And I took the quote, "A Moment in Time," and I adhered that to a piece of the cream cardstock from the paper pack, because it is sticky on the back. Then I ran that through my sticker maker, put it on a piece of the black pattern paper, which was cut at 1/2 inch bigger on both sides of the sentiment, and then adhered that on top of the red cardstock from the paper pack, which was cut at 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch bigger than the black pattern paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to peel that off, and I'm going to pick a spot on my coffee can, and I'm going to try my best to center this. And right about there looks good. It's about 1 inch up from the bottom, 1 inch down from the top. And when I mean 1 inch down from the top, I mean from that strip I made. I also have gone ahead and dug out some buttons, and I threaded some floss through them and just tied a simple knot, left the ends kind of long, and I'm going to use my dimensional glue dots, and I'm going to put some glue dots on the back of these buttons, like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place these into the corners, opposite corners of my sentiment block. Like so. And I didn't want to really go too overboard with my decorations on my canister, because I really want it just to be an inspiring piece, but the real treasures are going to be what's inside these miniatures. Now I picked these up at Michael's. They're creative tags, create your own. These are the medium size. They are measured out at 5 1/4 by 2 5/8. And they're by Paper Reflections. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my package. I'm going to take out one. I'm going to clear some space here so you can see what I'm doing. Now for the covers of my altered album, I picked just a sheet of the paper pack. So here I have the black pattern paper. And this is just a scrap piece of paper. Actually, I'm going to find a smaller one that might just fit. Nope, too small. So I'm going to go with this larger piece of scrap. And what I did is I took my Mod Podge and a foam tip brush, and I put it all over one side of my tag. I covered it all generously, but make sure you don't put too much because you don't want it to bubble as it dries. You just want enough so it's all covered well. Then what I did is I put the edge, the top edge of my tag towards the top of one of the edges of the paper, but I did so that a 1/4 inch of the pattern paper was overhanging on one side of my tag. Then using my scissors, I trimmed about a 1/4 inch away from the bottom of my tag. And then on the other side of my tag, I did the same thing, about a 1/4 inch. So that it overlapped. Then what I did is I snipped the corners like so that when I folded there wouldn't be excess. And these would hopefully edge up nicely. So there's that. I again took my Mod Podge with my brush. I put a little bit of glue on that lip, that 1/4 inch lip, all the way around the 3 sides. I then folded up that 1/4 inch and pressed down so it adhered to the back of my tag. And I did that on all 3 sides. Like so. Now, for my inner part, I used red cardstock, again from the same paper pack. And I'm using my scraps. This is a great project for scrap paper. Because there's always scraps laying around in scrapbooking. And I just kind of played around with my scraps, see what fits best. And this one actually fits the best within. So what I did is I just trimmed it to a little bit less adhesive all over the cardstock back, because this is what's going to be facing down, and this is where the glue is really going to sit. So I did that. And then I adhere it. If you have a little extra over the edges, that's okay. We're going to trim it after. So I'm really pressing it down, making sure it's really on there, like so. So now, see how I have the extra? I can very easily just trim that off with my scissors. And then I'm going to feel for the corner. I'm going to trim my corner so I have that tag shape, like so. So there's my cover. Then what I did is, using my nifty tools from Making Memories, I have my mat here, I have my punch tool, and I'm actually using the largest hole for the punch tool. Put that together there. I have my mini hammer. Now, at the top of the tag, I'm really feeling for the hole, and I'm pressing the paper down so I can really feel that the indentation is made, so I know where to place my tool. So I'm going to place my tool over that hole, give it a few whacks. Because this is thicker, I'm going to flip it, align with the hole, give it a few more whacks. And then I'm going to use my paper piecing tool from the Making Memory kit. And I'm just going to ease that out. Like so. So there is my cover. Now I repeated the steps for the back cover. So you can see that. There's my back cover. Repeat it for the front cover. Now for the pages, instead of wrapping the pattern paper, I just glued it to one side of the tag. So in doing that, I'm going to show you how. Here we are. Move my tools out of the way. Here's my tag. Another piece of scrap paper. I'm going to use this paisley, and this is the same paisley that I use for my can, but I'm going to use it here as well. Now I'm going to put down my adhesive right on the tag with my brush. I suggest, having some newspaper down or some printer paper or some other scrap paper of sorts when you do the painting. I also suggest having baby wipes on hand. These are wonderful tools to use when using glue. It makes for a quick cleanup, like you just saw. So now I'm going to align the top and one of the sides with the edges of my paper, like so. I'm really going to rub that down because we're not wrapping. I want to make sure it's adhered very well. If it's easier for you to pre-cut it to the dimensions of your tag, the width, in this case the width for these tags is 2 5/8. Cut it down to the 2 5/8 so it's already ready for you. Maybe run it through your sticker maker so it's adhered, has the adhesive directly on the paper, and stick it on if that works better for you, or if you don't have Mod Podge or on hand. So now I'm going to trim around my tag, cutting off all that excess paper, like so. I'm putting on my Mod Podge, putting that all over, make sure it's well covered, wiping any excess that's on my table off with my baby wipes. And then I'm aligning the sides again, the top with one side to the pattern paper, like so, and I'm pressing down firmly and smoothing it out. Again, trimming my paper, my excess paper. Then again, I'm taking out my tools. I'm pressing to make sure I see that indent for the hole at the top of the tag. It's right here. I am punching my hole, 1, 2, 3, flipping, aligning with the hole, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm using my paper piecing tool to punch out that hole so it comes out nice and clean, doesn't tear. And there is one of the pages in my altered album. And I repeated these steps so that I had this album. So you can see my cover. I have used 5 tags to make this little album. I use the same papers so they faced each other. You can do it differently if you want. Then I binded them together with this little binder clip, and I actually bought these at Staples. They're book rings, and you can get 16 of them for about $5. So I used one of those. These are the 1-inch. And then you can alter this as well by tying ribbons to it. But that is my mini altered album from Tags for my canister.